Despite initially saying that they wouldn't unveil their final 7-man roster till sometime in September, Team France have just surprised us by now officially announcing it. So today, I'm going to go over the top 12 that they picked a few weeks ago, before discussing who has now officially made the final 7 for them, the Overwatch World Cup this year. Remember, they already have a bye to BlizzCon. So just like with every other team I've covered, let's first look at the top 12 that was announced around the same time as everyone else, at the end of July. At main tank, Chubbs was selected. Off tank saw Poco and Tech36 make the top 12. Flex DPS was narrowed down to Leaf and Kagasi. Hitscan DPS saw a lot of competition with 5 people chosen, in Soon, Asking, AKM, Hardest and Sooner, whilst Hip and FD God were selected as Flex and made support players respectively. Now, just comparing the construction of his top 12 to the way other countries approach the creation of their teams, we can already see some major differences. From this announcement, we can gather that Chubbs, Hip and FD God were all guaranteed to make it into the final 7, with no one else left in the running in their positions, as France prioritised having a larger pool of DPS in the top 12 to select from. Let's quickly put to one side the areas where it can have little to no complaints. With the DPS options being so plentiful, I can't say that any of the players here don't deserve to be in the running, whilst at least in my opinion, it's clear that all the best options were selected. Other than DPS, the only other spot I can't have any worries about is off-tank. Poco and Tech are in my eyes clearly the best 2 players France have at this position, with similar impactful playstyles. Of course, Poco is going to be the favourite here. As I've said before, I think that Tech plays very similarly, and I reckon he can fill in admirably should Poco become unavailable for whatever reason. Main tank and support is where I do have a few questions though. It surprised me greatly to see that all 3 of these positions had been finalised. I also don't mind having a large pool of DPS to choose from. I believe they should have perhaps had a little more competition in the top 12 of these 3 positions. At main tank, I thought it would either be Bembest or Superpluke that was selected, which is why Chubbs came in as a surprise. I understand that Bembest has been underperforming in the Overwatch League, which is why he probably missed out. And in the end, it's probably Chubbs' Orisa that saw him picked over Superpluke. But I think France may regret this choice if Winston or Ryan come back into the meta, as based upon the performances I've seen in this past contender season, I think Superpluke is the better at these heroes, but I'm happy to give Chubbs a chance. At flex support, it didn't massively surprise me to see Hip picked up, despite him riding the bench, although it was interesting to see that Hedon didn't even make the top 12, as I thought he would have run Hip quite close, given how poorly Hip was playing last time we saw him, but overall I can understand his selection. My main issue, however, is at main support. As simply put, I don't think FD God is the best player they had available to them. In the EU Contenders Final, you had 2 French main supports in Ascroft and Lilbo, who just from what I've watched are the better players of his position, and have shown themselves to be really good at Baptiste, who's coming into the meta more and more at this position. I can only guess that FD God absolutely popped off in the scrims to earn his spot uncontested in the top 12, but I have to say, had I been in charge, I don't think it's a choice I would have made. What about Team France's final 7 though? On Saturday, out of the blue, they teased that instead of their initially rough September date, they were going to make their announcement for the final 7 the following day on Sunday, which was yesterday. It was rumoured that the team had been planning something special for it, but we had to wait and see what that actually was. Shortly before the Overwatch League started, we finally got our answer, as the team posted their roster video on their Twitter, which I'll link down below in the description. I have to say that this announcement was amazing and brilliantly produced, certainly making the longer wait totally worthwhile. Take a hint, Team USA, we're still waiting. I urge you all to go and watch this 2-minute video for yourself, as I won't be able to do it justice with the quick description I'm going to describe here. The style is kind of like a stone carving piece of art. It initially panned over some stills from Team France's iconic moments relating to the Overwatch World Cup in the past years, before transitioning to another piece that revealed each of the team's members, beside a signature hero of theirs that slowly started to glow. First with the DPS, which was shown to be Soon beside Widowmaker, Leaf alongside Sombra, and finally Hardest with the Hanzo. Then came Chubbs at the main tank, shown by the Winston, and he was followed by the supports FD God, symbolised on Mercy, and then Hip in a Kung Fu kicking Zenyatta. The last member of the team to be announced was Poco, represented by his signature D.Va. And the video ended with the silhouettes of the players looking up to his complete picture, which looked brilliant. Now of course, I could be biased and say that Team UK roster announcements were the best, peaking with the hot tub announcement, but I have to say, the effort was put into this video and talented artwork that was shown off actually takes the cake for me, and I can give nothing but complete praise to everyone who's involved in putting this together. But putting aside how brilliantly it looked, what do I think about the final 7 members who were chosen? I've already discussed the already known trio of Chubbs, FD God and Hip, so I won't repeat myself here. Moving on to Poco, I would have said he was the only guaranteed lock in the side before any of the tryouts for this year even began, despite Philly having a consistently mediocre season, with most of the players on the team themselves being very inconsistent in their performances from week to week. I personally believe that Poco has been the only reliable and consistent member of the Fusion this season. He might not have had as many Poco bombs, but his D.Va performances have still been very impactful on the whole, and especially in the first 3 stages, there were a number of occasions where he came in clutch, validating his quality and highlighting why he was still the clear and obvious choice for Team France this year. As for the DPS, Son's inclusion makes complete sense as well on multiple levels. He not only brings experience at the position, having represented his country on multiple occasions, but also, ever since the meta has shifted following the introduction of 2-2-2 Roll-Lock, Son has become a changed man. Long gone are his disastrous Zarya performances, and he has now returned to 2018 form as one of the most deadly DPS players in the league, with some sick Stage 4 displays on Widowmaker in particular, so he's hitting form at just the right time as we head towards the World Cup. I also think that Leaf's inclusion is the right one. As a member of Team Giganti, he helped them make it to the EU Contenders Final, and has shown over the past month or so how good of a DPS player he is. He's been putting in some nutty displays on Hanzo, which have helped his side dominate the end of the regular season, as well as British Hurricane in the semis. And he's shown an affinity on Mei as well, which is an important hero to have someone play in this current stage of the meta, so I can't have any complaints by his inclusion either. Perhaps the only questions at DPS was the final selection of Hardest. I can probably surmise that he performed the best in the trials of those competing for the final spot. They might miss his experience of someone like AKM, but to be honest, he has been struggling lately, so I can see why he might have underperformed, whilst others like Suna and Asking haven't themselves made a definitive statement for their inclusion, so I'm just going to have to trust the coaches on this one. Overall though, I think that Team France, whilst not necessarily having the best possible lineup, are in an excellent position heading into the Overwatch World Cup this year. 2-2-2 Roll-Lock has come at just the right time for them, with most of their players' strengths coming on heroes more suited to this sort of meta. And if they have Son and Leaf popping off at DPS, I genuinely believe they have a chance of sneaking out of the group stage and catching some of the stronger teams off guard. And with that, we're reaching the end of my Team France Overwatch World Cup video, and I'd like to thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at some point with my next Overwatch League Power Rankings video, so if you enjoyed and don't want to miss out, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter for this continuing competitive Overwatch coverage and content. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.